Welcome back, everyone. The iPhone 7 and the iPhone 8 are kind of older iPhones in 2022. Well, let's go and kind of compare them and see how they hold up in 2022. Now, if you want to pick up some iPhones I would recommend this year, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there and help support the channel at the same time. Now, side by side, the iPhone 7 and the iPhone 8 are very interesting iPhones because they look almost identical on the front. They have pretty much the same exact thing going on too, and they both have 4.7-inch panels. The iPhone 7 came out in 2016, and the panel that it has, it isn't bad, but both of them are pretty much the same, so there's really not too much to complain about on either one of these. They're both still supported with software and everything, which is great. The same amount of bezel on the front as well, same exact home buttons too, and pretty much the same exact, build quality overall too, except the iPhone 8 is a little bit different. You have that same 4.7-inch panel, but you do actually have True Tone on this display, which is actually really nice. So True Tone is really awesome. I like having that capability. It warms the display out, which is really cool. But I don't really see that crazy big of a difference between these two panels, and I wouldn't go from either one of these phones because of the build quality. Now, in terms of the thinness and thickness between them, again, pretty much the same exact thing. The iPhone 8 was a very thin phone, and the iPhone 7 is a very thin phone. But the best thing about the iPhone 8 and the biggest difference between these two is actually with the build quality on the back. The iPhone 7 actually has this aluminum back, which we all pretty much know about. The iPhone 8, on the other hand, has this glass back. And the iPhone 8's back, I think, looks much better than the iPhone 7's. And I like having this type of capability. I like having just this glass back. You also have wireless charging, which is really nice to have sometimes, unless it, degrades your battery. You also have IP certification on both phones as well, which is really nice. No headphone jack, just the lightning ports at the bottom. And that really pretty much covers it up on the outside. Now, in terms of the software and the longevity between them, the iPhone 7 is kind of in an interesting spot because it's most likely getting iOS 16. That's kind of what all the rumors suggest, which is cool. I like seeing that. And it's still going to be getting iOS 16, so it's going to be lasting up until next year. Maybe some security updates here and there. But with the iPhone 8, I'm pretty sure this phone is going to be lasting for a much longer period of time. This device is going to be lasting for probably another 2-3 years. So another 2 years of probably full OS updates and maybe like another year of security updates. So the iPhone 8 isn't going anywhere anytime soon either. And this iPhone is still a very good phone too. I think when it comes down to both these in terms of that, the iPhone 7 is probably the better way to go in some sense of the way, but the iPhone 8 is definitely the better one I would recommend there. So that covers it up, in terms of the basic stuff. Now let's go and do a speed comparison between both these phones. The iPhone 7 has that Apple A10 Fusion chip inside of it with 2 gigabytes of RAM, where the iPhone 8 has that Apple A11 Bionic chip inside of it with 2 gigabytes of RAM as well. So let's go and see which one is the faster one between these two. Okay, there we go. All the apps should be cleared out in the background except for the iPhone 8, obviously. So let me go and clear out this one right here. There we go. All the apps are cleared out on the iPhone 7. So let's get into it. iPhone 7 is here. iPhone 8 is here. Let's do phone calls. 3, 2, 1. And the iPhone 8 definitely faster there. Let's go and get into music. 3, 2, 1. And I think the iPhone 7 was slightly faster there, but that was pretty close on both. Hopping on at this one, let's go into their app stores. 3, 2, 1. And the iPhone 8 a little bit faster, but they were on different panels. So let's load up the same panels on both, and let me just kind of scroll through both and see which one is the smoother one. And they both kind of the same exact thing. There's not really that big of a difference there. Hopping out of this one, let's go and get into Apple TV. 3, 2, 1. And I guess the iPhone 8 was the faster one there. Hopping out of this one, let's go and get in their cameras. 3, 2, 1. Kind of the same thing, to be honest. Not a big difference there. Let's go and get into news. 3, 2, 1. And they're kind of stuck on the loading screen, which is very weird. Okay, looks like the iPhone 7 eventually got into it. And the iPhone 8, I guess, is stuck on loading. I don't know why. Both these are on the same version of software, so that was honestly kind of weird. I don't know why that happened. Let's get into health. 3, 2, 1. Pretty much the same. Maybe the iPhone 8 is slightly faster. Now, as always, we have a bunch of these third-party applications we can go and get into. Let's do Facebook. 3, 2, 1. And the iPhone 8 was faster there. Hopping out of this one, let's do Twitter. 3, 2, 1. And the iPhone 7 actually faster here. I have no idea why that happened. Maybe an outdated app on the iPhone 8, but that was very, very weird. Let's get into Stack. 3, 2. I don't have it, which is weird. Let's get into Netflix. 3, 2, 1. And the iPhone 7 again is the faster one. iPhone 8 a little bit behind there. Let's get into Temple Run 2. 3, 2, 1. And it looks like the iPhone 8 may load up faster, so that one did eventually get into it faster than the iPhone 7. It's a little bit behind. So we eventually do get into the on the iPhone 7. Now, again, both these are on the same version of the software. Very interesting that the iPhone 7 was that much more behind. I wasn't expecting there to be that big of a difference, to be honest. It's not a crazy big intensive game. Let's do both at 3, 2, 1. And iPhone 8 eventually got into it. iPhone 7 a little bit behind there, hopping out of this one. Let's go and get into Dropbox, 3, 2, 1. And iPhone 8, again, I think was the faster one there. Quizlet, 3, 2, 1. And iPhone 7 actually was faster there. There's a lot of flip-flopping going on between these two. We can go and end it off with Fruit Ninja, 3, 2, 1. Now, I think ultimately what the answer to the question is it's very weird how one is faster than the other one and the other one is faster than the other one. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. There's not like a consistent winner, but even in this case, you can see with this game, I mean, it looks like the iPhone 7 is going to win, and it did end up eventually beating the iPhone 8. The iPhone 8, I don't know what's going on. Both these phones were fast. I think the iPhone 7, like, this has to be a glitch. There's no way this is actually how the iPhone 8 is actually performing. So I think what I'll tell you is that I think the iPhone 8 may be the faster one consistently more often, but the iPhone 7 was actually pretty fast, and I'm pretty surprised about the iPhone 7. Besides Temple Run, the iPhone 7 did a great job, but I think the iPhone 8 may be the faster one. Those may be software glitches, I'm not too sure, but I guess we'll see what happens in the future. But let's go and hit on the cameras now. Now on the back, they kind of have the same thing going on. 12 megapixel sensors, both can do 4K, but the iPhone 8 can do 4K at 60. The iPhone 7 can only do 4K at 30. On the front, they kind of have the same exact cameras too, as far as I can tell. Now, I've talked about the iPhone 7's camera for such a long time now, and I feel like I've just been just talking about it for so many years. I don't have anything against this specific camera. I think it's a good camera for sure, but I don't think it's necessarily worth it anymore when you think about all the capability of the newer days cameras. I guess the iPhone 8 kind of falls in the same category too, but the iPhone 7's camera, I mean, I guess it's good enough, I mean, it has a single sensor. There's not really that much more going for it, so there's not a huge point to pick it up. It really only makes sense to pick it up if you're like really wanting a phone that for some reason, there's no other phone in the market, then maybe you could get this camera, but there's not a lot of capability here. Now, with something like the iPhone 8, it's kind of in the same category. There isn't really a big reason to buy something like the iPhone 8 specifically for the camera. Now, if there's another reason, let's say you love this type of camera or you like an iPhone 8, then, I would say go for it. But there, again, isn't any really crazy reason to pick up this phone over the iPhone 7 or vice versa because of their cameras. They're almost the same exact thing. 4K at 60 is nice and that's a big thing, but you don't have portrait mode, you don't have like night mode, you don't have any extra sensors, you don't have cinematic mode, you don't have anything going on with this one, but you don't have it going on in the iPhone, but you don't have it on the iPhone 7 either. So they kind of share some disadvantages there, but I think when it comes down to it, they're both pretty much more the same than not. So when it comes down to the camera setup, that pretty much covers it up there. And to be completely honest, I think that's pretty much how it sums this whole entire thing. It makes absolutely no sense to buy one over the other. If you're trying to, like, if you have an iPhone 7 right now, I wouldn't necessarily go to an iPhone 8. The 7 still has a lot of capability. I'm still surprised how good of a phone this is for how old it is. The iPhone 8 is definitely the better iPhone though, but what I'm trying to say is that both these phones, I probably would they wouldn't be my first choices. I would recommend buying something like an iPhone 10, iPhone 10Rs, iPhone 11, it's like that type of realm, rather than something like an iPhone 7 or 8. If you still have an iPhone 7, go to an iPhone 10. If you have an iPhone 8, go to an iPhone 10R. I wouldn't go from a 7 to an 8, but these phones are very similar to one another, which is very interesting. So if the iPhone 8 was a 10 out of 10, the iPhone 7 is like a 9.5 out of 10. There's really not much that the iPhone 8 does that the iPhone 7 can't do, in my opinion. So in terms of that covers it up there. If you guys have any other questions or anything like that, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.